Let us understand about post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a disorder which has always been considered to be affecting people in the army, in police, people who have been through genocide or have seen a murder in front of them, or a lot of killings and trauma like death of somebody very early in life. And generally it started with the army veterans who were shell-shocked after they had been in a war and had come back to normal life and were unable to adjust to the normal life with the people, with the family, friends, their near and dear ones. PTSD is a little broader than this. PTSD is an experience that you might have when something terrible has happened in your world and your world is no longer the same. It could be death of a boyfriend, it could be death of parents, it could be an earthquake that was devastating, it could be loss of a lot of money in your business, it could be any incident that was more than huge in magnitude than what your resources were to deal with that situation. After that trauma, your world is no longer the same and everything has changed, and it feels like there is an inability inside you to deal with that situation because it is so much bigger in magnitude than your capacities. Some of the symptoms that people generally experience when they have normal upsetting situations in their life are loss of sleep and a lot of exhaustion. But generally these symptoms subside. You may be feeling fatigued and sleepless nights for about 10 days, 15 days, a month. But it should not extend beyond a month, and when it does extend or persist beyond a month, PTSD diagnosis should be made. Although all the symptoms, if they happen 6 months after the trauma, it is categorized as delayed post-traumatic stress disorder. If your trauma happened in childhood, then it is called an advanced post-traumatic stress disorder. If you have supported someone with trauma, it is called secondary post-traumatic stress disorder. What happens is when you have experienced such a loss, such a devastating and huge magnitude of loss in your life, people around you would tell you to get over it and forget it, because a lot of times a major symptom of PTSD is that you keep getting flashbacks and you're unable to believe that something like that has already happened in your life. So people around you would ask you to get over it, don't ruminate, it's okay, move ahead, see what's there, what lies ahead in your life. Well, this is the way that has to be taken by anybody under any circumstances. It is not so easy for anybody who has experienced a trauma of that magnitude to just get over, buck up and start looking ahead in life, because there's a lot of grieving that has to be done. There's a lot of there's a lot of flashbacks, a lot of memories, a lot of loss of sense of self is experienced by the person who experiences post-traumatic stress disorder, and it needs proper diagnosis and treatment. Some of the symptoms that you could experience are it falls under the category of re-experiencing. They are recurrent, intrusive recollections of dreams, the most commonly experiencing symptoms of the trauma. You might have nightmares that clearly qualify as the re-experiencing of the trauma symptoms of the event that has happened. Flashbacks, that is widely used but often misunderstood. The general public typically equate flashbacks with intrusive recollections that keep coming during the day when you are in some other work or you are engaged in something else. Diagnostically, however, flashbacks are dissociative episodes in which the person believes or behaves as if the traumatic event were actually occurring. The person is reliving, not simply recalling the event. Flashbacks are rare and typically last only a few moments. Avoidance, common forms of avoidance include the avoidance of trauma cues as well as avoidance of things that resemble or symbolize the trauma. For example, you would avoid watching television news or coverage of wars, avoiding banks for people who have been in hold-ups, avoiding having contact with one's parents or siblings for survivals of childhood physical or sexual abuse. There are some subtle avoidance symptoms. Some are, and it's very subtle. Like a survivor of domestic violence, for example, might talk in a whisper and refrain from making eye contact in order to avoid provoking men by seeming too assertive. Numbing happens, and this is another category of symptoms that occur in PTSD, where you have a restricted range of affect, like emotions, and you have less interest in activities. People suffering from emotional numbing may be unable to experience loving feelings towards significant people in their lives. They may have lost their sense of humor, enjoyment of things they formerly found entertaining. Their emotional palette may consist of a blend of aversive emotions like anxiety, anger, and sadness, interspersed with periods in which they feel nothing at all. There's detachment and estrangement from others, which also falls under the numbing category. Others finding that detachment and estrangement from others, finding that other people cannot understand what one has been through and can lead to a feeling of estrangement from others. A sense of a foreshortened future as a result of trauma exposure. People may come to see themselves as vulnerable to harm and may come to regard the world as malevolent. This can lead them to conclude that they are unlikely to live long enough to have a normal lifespan. There are hyperarousal symptoms, insomnia. There are various forms of insomnia associated with PTSD, including initial insomnia, difficulty falling asleep, middle insomnia, difficulty staying asleep. Middle insomnia may be a product of heightened arousal, or it may be due to recurrent nightmares that make you awake. Similarly, initial insomnia may reflect an arousal problem, or it may be specifically associated with worry about sleep, worry about having terrifying nightmares. There's hypervigilance. The person is clearly watchful and may appear to be highly alert or vigilant. One might choose to sit in particular locations in public places. For example, in the corner of a restaurant with one's back to the wall and facing the door in order to scan for threat or express an exaggerated concern for the safety of oneself or one's home or significant others. The person might also engage in checking rituals such as checking the doors and windows are safely secured at night. The person experiences a lot of concentration difficulties. You may find that special effort is required to concentrate on television programs, read newspapers, or you might lose track of conversations. The person might fail to complete activities because he or she loses focus and becomes distracted. Concentration difficulties can arise because the person is preoccupied with intrusive thoughts of the trauma, or because he or she is scanning the environment for threat instead of focusing on the task at hand. Concentration difficulties may be compounded by excessive daytime sleepiness due to insomnia. Exaggerated startled responses. People with an exaggerated startled response may report that they often feel jumpy, the kind of anxiety kind of feeling, and that it takes them some time to calm down after being startled. So exaggerated startle response is important because of its potential interpersonal or other consequences. For example, combat veterans with exaggerated startle responses may reflexively become physically aggressive and startled. So whenever someone is moving towards them fast paced, they may become aggressive without even realizing that this person is naive and has no intentions of beating them up or doing any harm to them. There may be a lot of irritability and anger with trauma related people, that they become enraged at the slightest provocation. They may become unusually irritated or angry about being exposed to unwanted noise, such as the sound of a television in a neighboring apartment or the sound of a car alarms going off at night. Survivors of crime, torture, or genocide may angrily ruminate over fantasies of revenge or reparation, especially if they were humiliated as a result of the event. Associated symptoms of trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder could be guilt related to the trauma, which can be defined as unpleasant feelings such as remorse or regret, accompanied by the belief that one should have thought, felt, or acted differently based on an internalized set of standards that they have. Trauma-related shame is also one of the major ignored symptom that happens to people who have been diagnosed with PTSD or have symptoms of PTSD. The guilt involves a focus on the wrongness or badness of one's action, whereas shame involves a global labeling that one is a bad person. I feel so dirty or ugly, which is a very very specific symptom for people who have been sexually abused. The shame can be a painfully devastating emotion, which the whole self is damned, leaving the person feeling worthless and powerless, along with the desire to hide from others. Trauma-related shame is often is important, but often overlooked feature of PTSD. PTSD and trauma are different, and post-traumatic stress disorder may be experienced by different people in different forms, and some of the symptoms might be there and some of the symptoms might not be there. It is best that you speak to a mental health professional if you feel that you have any symptoms of PTSD that I have described. Thank you, and I will bring more information on related topics in my next episode, which is related to complex PTSD. Thank you.